In the report, the General Secretary is reported to have taken the National Council and the Council of Elders through the committee's recommendations, which have not yet been made public. The meeting brought together party officials, including members of the National Council and the Council of Elders. The committee was established immediately after the recent electoral defeat, and it was charged to investigate the factors that contributed to the NPP's loss to the National Democratic Congress. The committee was given a 3-month timeline to complete its work, with focus on evaluating the party's internal elections, campaign strategies, and the challenges that led to the electoral defeat, while proposing actionable solutions for future elections. According to NPP General Secretary, the committee's objective was to conduct a thorough review and provide recommendations to strengthen the party's operations. Now, the 2024 election saw former President John Dramani Mahama achieve victory, securing 6.328397 votes, representing 56.55%, defeating the NPP's presidential candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who received 4,657,304 votes, representing 41.61%. Mahama's victory only marked a personal political comeback, but also represented a significant triumph for the NDC, which gained a majority in parliament with more than 180 seats, including those formerly held by the NPP, which includes the Ablema West constituency, that I believe that's Esla Usu's constituency. So Richard is here, thankfully. And Richard, how important was yesterday's gathering, and what's the way forward?
Oh, thank you. I think yesterday was pivotal because right after the elections, the party needed to collect itself, which required that we understand exactly what went wrong, what we did right, what we did do right, things that we needed to take a second look at, things that we needed to outright admonish ourselves about, that never again, and things of that nature. And in seeking to find answers to those questions and concerns, the National Council of the party met and set up this committee chaired by the Right Honorable Aaron Michael Quay to inquire into what must have gone wrong. Listening to the report yesterday, the highlights that was put out, there was a mixture of things that we may have done right, things that we need to take a second look at, things that we need to discipline ourselves about, to bring to the fore or to jettison, and manner and things along those lines. So it was important that work was done. And before going further, let me commend the committee, all its members, the chair, Professor Okoye, for the very diligent work. You'll be amazed what the volume of work they put out in 3 months is simply exceptional. I mean, it's very, very exceptional. I want to commend them. That's a great service they've done to the party.
Can I safely assume that they went to all the nooks and crannies of this country?
Absolutely. They went to every constituency.
Okay.
Every constituency. Talked to a significant amount of people, people, party executives, people, party associates, people in the campaign, people at the headquarters. I recall I was supposed to have met them on 2 different occasions. So it was a very extensive work, and the results they brought yesterday was just simply, rich. And I think that we need to commend them. And this now, the significance of yesterday, sets us up on a path of, regrouping and putting the pieces together to ensure that we get ourselves properly oiled for the battle that lay ahead in 2028. And it's exciting, especially because, the NDC started goofing up early. And so it just calls for us to put ourselves together. And once we get that done, we'll give them a good run for their money. I still think that, they have our seats and we'll take them back, both the Jubilee House one and the parliamentary seats that they are sitting on. Most of will take them back. Because, and I think that Hamza will feel this way. I believe inherently, without apology, that the new patriotic party's worldview presents a better prospect for Ghana. If you put it side by side.
Sorry, I'm told that we have a sound issue, we have a sound challenge, so we'll take just a short break. We'll sort that out quickly in less than a minute, and then we'll come back. Please stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana.
Is it with my mic?
Yeah, I think so. Somebody.
Party painful, and they said the more no National Council Asia na butaya into a National Council Asia, and they said and che and yet video could be a from review committee. Reverend Professor Iramaku Kwedano say Omonhwe party no ya number 2 adwuma ye or 2024 elections no me koyi and no man koyi and committee need the more report every National Council. I'm a National Council so a report to him. National Council saw a report to him. No, you who say your constitution was a political party. No, it's a crack bit me above. Then tea and nam sa so tea ati abidokua almost so a nipa and kono say ombeshe constitution ni propose as a war era makukwe report to him. Na omo two party nefo na baby a constitution esa sakra eba mu no sakra timabo na me fa akunya we so asre ye party for say ye call radio so ye wo social media platform so say report no ye nyam biem ne yenkan enti obi abakotena radio so na abonte abeka say report ni say ati say no enya ne kure if say report no ye nyankan say dem make na one document pe ene wo ho eni baby a emra di yanim no the ese party 24 e kan de to edwa e ma amanfo hu no ye be kan wasem ana recommendation na ese ye de ba man kofo so hu no nyina se betu anamo ti ye bo party fo bi akoko se ye hwe kasam ye me en kasam a identitimu e beba party nim etoso biem ye nyina ntia asese ye abusua baako ti bibia ese ye e man kabo ma party nim eno ene ese ye ni ekoho ebiem party no so na otwe edi enu ye bobo apro akọ Ghana fa na nyina edi kan ye da nyame ase se elections e course so masundwe ba o memu na ono a no tumi ni hihye mu ye siye no o ma kwan ma ye siye nti atu din ni se ade ni nyina no ye de aseda e manyame eho to ene ye kọ ti mu se ye party ni nam Ghana fa na nyina na ye thank you to na se aseda de manyame to no ana ye kọ tosu biem so ye party no so ya hwe kwan a ye be pija party na ho odin yi nti ye membership drive so ya de a ye ba betu ho anamo nti ebrese mu no party ni hye beba regional party ni be di animu ni ahwe se constituencies ene ye polling station kwan a ye membership registration no ebetimi akoso nti ene nhyiamu a ekọ so e wo National Council no na eno no te beda mu nyina amase na yama minority leader so atwas.
Our secretary said we are also urging upon government to do all it can to ensure the peace in Boko. The situation is getting out of hand, and they inherited a peaceful country. They must keep it peaceful. What is happening in Boko, where security personnel don't feel safe, is not the best for our country. Second, we are also concerned about the persecution and the harassment of political opponents, particularly our party members and former appointees. MPs are now being harassed by expressing their views on governance issues. We urge government to demonstrate tolerance. After all, when they were in opposition, they were at liberty to raise a number of issues. The recent event at the residence of Reverend Ntim Fojo leaves so much to be desired. Very unfortunate. In any event, they could have used due process of law to, invite him. And then the final point, government must focus on issues of governance, creating jobs, and helping better the lives of the people. We are still aware that a lot more are being dismissed from various state institutions that are even very independent and are limited liability companies, and whose budget do not rely on government budgets. They are very independent, who have recruited people for 18 months, 12 months, and they are just being sacked here and there. Government must take note of it. We are also concerned about an attempt by certain individuals in government to push for the removal of the Chief Justice. The judiciary should not be seen as part of the partisan political system in our country. All we need is to have an impartial judiciary to dispense justice.
Friends from the media, we are delighted to have you here this evening. I know many of you want.
Yeah, so it was an event that happened yesterday right here at the Alisa Hotel. So I'm here. Richard Ahyangba is the Director of Communications of the NPP, and also Hamza Suhini, who is a private legal practitioner and also a member of the NDC's communications team. So Richard, you were talking to me about the importance of what happened yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is pivotal. Much of activities in our party was depending on the conclusion of this. So you saw the General Secretary talking about some activities that will start rolling out, which is the thank you tour, which was scheduled much earlier, but then, it was one of the things that we said, well, let's wait for the report. So now the report is here. We're going to be going or working to that report. And so a lot of activities in our party now would commence, having gotten this report done, and then most of our organizations will drive toward some of the recommendations that's been made in this report. So it was that important for us that we have that report. And again, as I was saying, I can't stop commending the Prof. Okwe's committee. They've done a yeoman's job. Now, out of that yesterday was a committee that was formed to kind of coordinate matters arising from that report that require constitutional amendment. And so the committee put together is chaired by the chairman, Frank Davis, who is chairman of the Constitutional Legal Committee of the party, and supported by 8 other persons to try and do that, so that they would put together matters there that require amendment, and so proposals will be put to that, and then Congress would look at amending or not amend the Constitution to reflect the recommendations. And then also the other outstanding proposals that were supposed to have gone into amendment in 2021, but for some reason it didn't, so it was referred to National Council to do that on behalf of Congress. Outside of Congress, National Council is the highest authority of the party, so it was referred to Council to winnow or kind of sort through those proposals for amendment. So the committee is now seized with it to consolidate all of that, including new proposals that people would want to make outside of the committee's ideas or recommendations that would lead us to a conference or Congress to try and amend the Constitution. So that's a very important work that's also ongoing. So the report yesterday has brought some, beginning point in terms of our rebuilding process to recapture power in 2028. So we thank everybody. It was a very good and spirited debate about, the matters, some of the highlights that were there, and other related matters on our agenda. So it was, for me, today is our rebirth. Since after the election, now we have a roadmap sort of to put our hearts together and sharpen our arrows and bows for the fight in 2028.
So the details of the report was not shared?
The details of the report, the aspects of it that is consumable by the general population of the party and Ghanaians at large will be put out as and when it's necessary, but the document itself is a confidential document.
Okay.
That is only for purposes of reorganization and not for pleasure of reading and learning about things.
Okay, so who would be entitled to read the content of that document?
It would only be people who are working and leading the efforts, so maybe executives of the party,
okay.
And appropriate
so say General
aspects.
Secretary, National Chairman, Women's Organizer?
Yeah, I mean, it's generally, yeah. If it borders on my work and things that I have to do to sharpen and improve communication, yes, that'll be a detail that I have. If it bothers on the work of the national organizer, the women organizer, things that he must do, part of the recommendation to, shape up his organ, then that's probably what he would know,
okay.
To be able to drive the agenda forward for the party.
I see. Do you suppose that perhaps this document, this piece of document, and as you put it, Professor Michael Quaid document, which has diligently been put together, would suffer some kind of a credibility deficit, and for that matter, make it difficult for the party to unite going forward because of some of the comments we heard from no less a person, Adwoa Safo, I believe 3 times or 4 times Member of Parliament for Dome Kwabena.
Yeah, I think it
must be 4 times.
3 times.
3 times.
Yeah, 3 times.
I mean, she's not a small person. She's been a minister, and she's been a deputy majority leader, etc., etc. And she's raised some serious concerns about the integrity and the credibility of the document. And her challenge is with the persons who have been commissioned to do it, and specifically Professor Michael Quaid. Now, such a person, unless of course the MPP doesn't want her to be a part of the party anymore, but if you want people like her to be a part of the party, then she's got to be convinced why she must take this document much more seriously, even if there's a portion of it which has to do with her role that she played. She's got to be able to accept it, because at the end of the day, if the document comes out and people don't want to accept the content of the document, then you may not be able to make progress. You don't think so?
No, not really. I mean, we are so many million people in the New Patriotic Party.
She may be the only person who's talking, but there may be many others who have the same concerns.
Yeah, I'm not even making the point of... yes, I'm not saying that we're so many million people in the party, and that if you want to have a committee that works, you can't have all million of us being on the committee. So at any given time, whoever you put on the committee, I'll have reason to complain about the person. You'll have reason to complain. So to the extent that we can't have any perfect human being drop from anywhere, people will have concerns, but it doesn't take away from the work of the committee. The key thing is that the committee didn't set out to imagine what went wrong. Okay, the report as we have it is not the imagination of the committee. It's a collective of the inputs that have been brought to the committee. So they just tabulated what has been brought, collated, clean it up, and organize it for our consumption and then implementation. So the question doesn't arise as to whether it is credible or not, because they have not gone to imagine this. It's not a function of their education, right? It's a function of collective insight that is brought to them. They put it together. I think that what concerned Adwoa Safo was making a while ago, if I remember, was to do with her availing herself to the committee. And so I don't know if she presented herself to make her views known to the committee, but that doesn't take anything away from the committee. I
doubt she would.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Because she has serious issues with
if she hasn't, I will encourage her that you know, she's a very senior person of the party. She's done a service to the party, and she has role to play in the party. And I don't think the party will just jettison her or just ignore her. The thing about it is that, Moro, as big as we might be in the party or as small as we might be, there are rules, and we must work to those rules. That's really just what brings sanity. Otherwise, there will be chaos. So I'll entreat her, and I'm sure that, you know, things have worked out to this point. I'll seriously beseech her to reconsider. Her potential is immense, and there's room in the party for her to grow and to attain you know, the heights that she's destined to attain. And I think that she should work as she's worked for the party in the past, so we can move on, because 2028 is a crucial election for Ghana. And not only for NPP, but for Ghana, because Ghana needs to be saved from the experimentation of the NDC led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, which is not going well so far. We can see it. We know it. Ghanaians are beginning to feel it. They are calling and asking why their lights are going off, why things are getting expensive instead of less expensive. So we know where we are is not good, and we need a new patriotic party to focus and come back in 2020.
So that's my penultimate question, because the report, let me ask you a few questions. But the thing is, does the report talk about what happened, or it also goes ahead to talk about who is responsible for this? Was there some kind of a blame apportioning in the report? And I'm asking this because I suspect that finally, if somebody gets hold of this report and gets to know who may have done what, either by an act of commission or omission, we sit here, and even if the NDC grabs it, they will begin to talk about, you did this, I know you did this wrong, you did that wrong. How does that help the healing process?
Well, what will help the healing process is that Hamza will not get his hand on that document. you will not get your hand on that document.
Oh my God.
and then those who must get their hands on it to promote the healing process and make that healing happen will get their hands on it.
Does the report talk about going on a thank you tour? And because you've talked about going on a thank you tour.
No. So it's not a recommendation of the report. These are activities that were scheduled before, except they were put on hold for the report to come before they move. So with the benefit of the report here, the door is open for those activities to be undertaken.
So you don't want to tell us who should be held responsible for what? But Global Info Analytics has done that job for you. Yes.
You are tempting me.
No, he's a very good friend. The only reason why I brought it up is because I know you're very close to him. So Musa Dankwa has done some work. And he says a post-election poll conducted by Global Info Analytics has revealed that 68% of respondents hold former President Nana Akufo-Addo responsible for the New Patriotic Party's defeat in the 2024 general elections. 2, the poll reflects public sentiment on the party's loss, with significant portions of voters also attributing blame to key government figures. The findings show that 40% of respondents blame former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, while 37% attribute the defeat to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who served as Vice President and was the NPP's presidential candidate in 2024. And the poll is right there. Additionally, 33% blame Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, while 32% hold other government appointees responsible. Members of Parliament were also not exempt, with 25% of voters assigning them some level of responsibility. The data suggests that many voters view the performance of the Akufo-Addo-led government as a decisive factor in the NPP's electoral failure. Issues such as economic challenges, governance concerns, public dissatisfaction may have contributed to the perception that the former president's leadership played a significant role in the party's defeat. Interestingly, only 9% of respondents blame Kennedy Pong, who contested in the NPP's primaries but did not lead the party in the elections. This indicates that while intra-party competition may have influenced voter decision, the majority of the blame was placed on those directly associated with government administration. Now, are these persons who have been mentioned, first of all, your thoughts on this before I go to Hamza, and are these persons who have been mentioned be given copies of the report for them to peruse and have a look and say, look, this is what the generality of our party followers are saying you may have done wrong. So next time round when you get an opportunity, be careful. So Nana Addo, so Ken Ofori-Atta, so Dr. Matthew Poku, so Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, etc., etc. It is a part of your plans, whilst you give me your brief thoughts about Musa Dankwa's poll.
Our report does not report anything in this manner.
Okay.
And so maybe Global Info Analytics need to share this with the people.
Okay.
But our report doesn't speak in those terms.
Yeah.
But the sum total,
okay,
of the matter is that
the report doesn't mention Ken Ofori-Atta?
No.
It doesn't mention Anado?
Our report is not in that.
It doesn't mention Dr. Martin Poku-Prempeh?
No.
Okay, it doesn't mention Dr. Mahmoud?
No, it is Global Info Analytics you just read. So that's not our report.
I'm trying to get a scoop.
I know. That is not our report you read. So the truth is that the sum total is that we know we have work to do.
Okay.
The NDC were here some years ago, 8 years ago. They had to go through a process. They did pretty much the same thing. It's normal. It's normal. But yes, the post-mortem assessment is good. It's good for life.
Okay.
I do that every morning. Before I get up, I see what happened yesterday in the rear and see what am I going to do today to improve things, manage my time better, improve this and do that. It's just regular human conduct to do that. So now we have that report. We're going to work to implement it and see that the things that he encourages us to do, we do them. That he says we should suppress, we'll suppress. Okay. And I believe that when all of these things are done, the New Patriotic Party will stand again resolute and ready to lead Ghana again.
All right, just do me a favor. Send me a copy of the report. I can promise you that I will share it with Hamza.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, Hamza.
I'll send you something, but if you see it, if it's a report, you can tell me.
Hamza, what will you do if you peep into the
on this note, I'll decide how to use my the first 3 minutes of my time. No problem. Just to quickly make some quick rebuttals. Right. First of all, I think that when we promised that we're going to establish the Women Development Bank, we never said that we're going to provide the capital requirements in a matter of 123 days. There's a huge difference between capital adequacy ratio in terms of capital requirements for the establishment of a bank and seed money for the processes that would lead to the eventual establishment of the bank. And that was the promise we made. Right. And that is the reason why we have made available 50 million Ghana cedis. It has nothing to do with capital adequacy ratio requirement. It is simply in line with our plan to at least putting the framework in place and getting the necessary building blocks for us to be able to meet these capital adequacy ratio requirements. Then, quickly on the issue of what Galamsey, I think that I was impressed by the question you asked him. What shows that what data suggests that the fight against Galamsey is struggling to an extent that it has become worse under our regime? Absolutely not. But we have impressive records to show in terms of data. Before we came into office, about 43 forests were under siege. Today, we are happy to announce that at least we have been able to reclaim in excess of 7 or 9 of them, largely because of our efforts in that sector. Not long ago, I think about a day or two ago, you noticed that in the Subri catchment area, we've been able to discover a full community that was engulfed in illegal mining in our forest reserves. For 8 years, they failed to appreciate that there was an existence of such a community. And if they knew about the existence of that community, then clearly they were accomplices in terms of protecting these inhabitants. So these are gameful efforts that the government has shown in terms of its commitment to the fight against illegal mining and mining our forest reserves. But you see, Moro, as for the New Patriotic Party and the time-wasted effort trying to find the reasons why they lost the last election.
Time-wasted effort?
It is time-wasted.
But you did the same thing.
I'll get there, and I'll tell you why I feel there is a time. You see, the circumstances are entirely different.
Tell me what the difference is.
Look, we had a sitting president who took over from a president, the late President Mills, of course. And we had internal issues to resolve within the party. Yeah. And many of us believe that largely because of the nature of the transition that happened between the late President Mills and that of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, it contributed hugely to our defeat. So there was the need for us to understand what was going on. It had nothing to do with the psychology or persuasion of the party then. So when we did it, they were mocking us. Today, they decided to copy from the NDC's hymn books, and they're even copying it wrongly. And I can sit here and confidently and eruditely tell them why they lost that last election. Moro, you see, you were dealing with a leader who for almost over a decade decided to change the psychology of your party. And here I'm making reference to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Remember, since 2007, Nana Addo has been at the helm of affairs of the party. And so he succeeded in changing the thinking pattern of the party and moved the NPP from a party that was initially attractive to intelligence, academia, and if you like, the business community, to a party that suddenly assumed an arrogant posture to reflect his personality, where even dissent was not entertained when he was running a flag bearer, even in opposition. So your problem started way back, even before Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo became president. You failed to identify these red spots. And at the time, the NDC was pointing it out to you and said that, look, this is not just about the future of the New Patriotic Party, it is also about the future of Ghana's democracy. You defended that taggery, that arrogant posture, even in opposition, where a chunk of your party leaders were chased out of the party head office. Your regional chairmen were harassed. In fact, as a result of that, one of them, unfortunately, was murdered, largely because of the politics of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and his cabal within the New Patriotic Party. So, Moro, you emboldened the man, and he took that attitude into government. And when he got into government, the government was run by 3 people. We all know that. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Gabi Ochridako, and the former finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. So for over a decade, these guys shaped the philosophy of the New Patriotic Party. So the first step is for you to reorient your minds and get yourself out of that arrogant posture. Because you just demonstrated same here. Did you listen to him when he said that, oh, the flag servers is our seat and the parliamentary seats, so we are going to take our seats back? Those seats belong to the good people of this country, and they decide through elections who to give the honor of serving them. It does not belong to the New Patriotic Party.
But Hamza, if he sees those seats as a traditional NPP seats, and he says
is a Jubilee House, but he mentioned that. I'm making reference. He said it belongs to them. They will take theirs.
Oh, you mentioned Flagstaff House as your seat?
Yes, the presidency. He mentioned that.
You mentioned that.
But you see, are you going to introduce him into them?
Yeah, please go ahead.
You see, Moro,
he's being mischievous.
Moro, I'm not.
Carry on.
Moro, again, you see. So their first task is actually not, they don't need a report to be told that they need to take away that poison chalice that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo succeeded in subjecting them to over the last 8 years. In fact, over the last 16 years, rather. Because 8 years in opposition and 8 years in government. Over a decade. Moro, you see, when they were doing the press conference, I looked at the table and I was like, my goodness God, these guys don't learn any useful lessons. These are still remnants of the Nana Addo legacy. These are the very people that the MPP people are worried about. These are them. They still feel that they are relevant to the politics of the MPP. Any true transformation that fails to sweep off the Nana Addo poison chalice from their parliamentary leadership to the party level, they would be unsuccessful at any attempt to truly transform their party. The likes of Pepe Nyomakin and Co. are all Nana Addo's induced leadership before he left. They know as a party that they did not have the luxury of choice to determine who lead them or who had the opportunity to sit at the front bench of parliament. It was done by Nana Addo before he left. The party level, still under his beck and call. So that is the kind of problem they have. If the party truly wants to make a transformative change in its operations, there is the need for the likes of my brother here to be shown the exit. and allow new blood with a better understanding. Unfortunately, I have to tell him that.
You want your friend to be sacked?
No, but they need to move. They need to make way. The party is yearning for change. And the last election, he is. That's why I'm saying that, unfortunately, there are better roles for him to play, but not to be at the party head office. Because, you see, they all contributed to that mess. And I'm sure the MPP people out there hold them responsible. So you don't need a report to tell you that. And you see, my brother, I listened to Afenyo Markin also make references to the fact that the NDC is engaged in a scheme to oust the Chief Justice. Unbelievable. So that again, once again, is a reflection of the choice that they gave to the good people of this country. We've all seen his conduct since he assumed the leadership role, first as majority leader and subsequently as minority leader, meaning minority leader in parliament. We've seen his conduct. This is not a conduct that we can be proud of. And I'm sure well-meaning MPP people are beginning to question his sense of judgment and leadership ability when it comes to leading the MPP's bench. And these are the people who are leading the party today. There's the need for a change. He is a lawyer. He knows that whatever action we take in this country, especially when it comes to the three arms of government, clearly governed by our Constitution, 1992. And under Article 146, the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana prescribes a procedure for citizens of this country to take advantage of at any point in time they feel that the Chief Justice is not living according to the dictates of her mandate or his mandate. So if responsible Ghanaians, not one, not two, not three, three Ghanaians we are told, decided to take advantage of that constitutional provision to call for the removal of the Chief Justice, how is that connected to the National Democratic Congress? Does he think that the laws in our Constitution are simply meant to be opened, admired, and closed again? Every constitutional provision is capable of being taken advantage of by the good people of this country if they feel strongly about it.
Okay.
So if Ghanaians decide to take advantage of that constitutional provision, it shouldn't complain. After all, we did not put those laws in our law courts, in our constitution, simply because we wanted to admire it from time to time.
All right.
So, Moro, please let my brother know that the reality is that their number one challenge has to do with a president who has changed the persuasion of the MPP for over a decade.
Okay.
Ably assisted by a man who, quite incidentally and interestingly, has earned the reputation of not being trustworthy. And I'm here making reference to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. We did not put that on him. It is simply difficult for Ghanaians to accept that this is a truthful candidate. And remember, somewhere in 2016, His Excellency President Mahama said something profound when he cautioned that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia should be careful of his promises and the things he was saying about the economy because he had not had the opportunity yet to be president or vice president. We saw it happen.
Okay.
Prophetic.
All right.
Today, he is being haunted by his own words and actions whilst he was in opposition and even subsequently in government. So my plea to them is, look, they should spare Ghanaians this hassle of having to waste time discussing the internal happenings of the New Patriotic Party. They should do the needful. The likes of the General Secretary, the party chairman, and finally, Moro, look, I'm a proponent of freedom of expression, especially under a minute when it comes to the role of the media in our politics. We cannot end this show without condemning what they did to the TV3 reporter. That is unacceptable. It could be Metro TV tomorrow. And the Ghana Journalists Association must signal to the MPP that they would not entertain that. And they can only do so by releasing a statement today directing all media houses to boycott their activities until they apologize to the TV3 journalists. This is how we can help strengthen the fourth estate as far as our democratic process is concerned. We should not allow the NPP to get away with this because this is clearly unacceptable.
I also thought that it wasn't tidy. It could have been done better. But Kojo I have no, just a message, just a quick one. I'll bring you.
Kojo, you have read Kojo already. Kojo is sitting somewhere. If Kojo wants to talk, he should come and sit here. He should come and sit here.
So no, he's admiring you.
No problem, but he should come and sit here.
He's praising you. Oh, for the first time, the man is praising you. You don't always read it. If
I don't read it, my friend. Okay. He's always at something.
So he says, please tell Richard to stop blowing gasket.
And that you are not correct, Moro. You are not correct. how is that doing my bidding?
He says there is a steam coming out of the forehead, and that Ghanaians are enamored with the concept of a scandal-free government. Good morning, Hamza.
Good morning.
And let me do this other one quickly. So Musa Abatwa said, good morning, Ebora. I essentially agree with Hamza Sweeney. We don't need the NPP to officially announce their miserable defeat. It's already public knowledge. Ghanaians rejected arrogance, corruption, and blatant nepotism that defined the rule. That said, Minority Leader Fenyo Makin's comment about removing the Chief Justice is not good. It is not necessary. Or is it that blood wasn't running through Salotos's veins when she was hounded out of office? Hypocrisy and dishonesty from the highest level. Yes, please go ahead.
Hamza.
Yeah.
You know, two things. So let me just advise my brother. Professor John Evans Atta Mills was right the last time and is right today. May his soul rest in peace when he said, "Ufiasam." Everything he's saying, I'm not sure where he's going with it. He's pointing fingers and four is pointing back at him, saying that, the executives might be shown the exit. Does he remember what his general secretary, now chairman, said when they lost?
Right.
In 2016?
Right.
He said that they shouldn't blame him. They should blame the new crop of people who came.
So let your general secretary
Hold on. So when you are saying these things, you have to remember your history because you have it and we can refer to it. When they lost miserably, who was the president who lost up the election? Is it not the same person? They brought one, they brought two, and they brought three? Is that the same person? So what is he talking about that people should be shown exit because what? This whole business of Akufo-Addo, hasn't President Mahama captured their party? To where the venerable Dr. Adufo can't have space to contest him? They muscle him out. Anybody who wants to contest is hounded. They created the party, just handed him the seat. If you came up to contest John Dramani Mahama, you are in for trouble. So what is he talking about? I said Nketia was the general secretary. Now he's the chairman. Where did he go in the 80s? Where did he go? Where did he go?
Okay.
You understand? Right. So please, no, we won't take that advice. The best thing that he needs to take is the advice from former President John Atta Mills.
Okay.
Number two, advise my brother that seed money doesn't establish a bank. The promise they made in their manifesto is to establish Women's Development Bank. So when you bring seed money, that is not equal to establishing a bank. Okay. Seed money don't establish a bank.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
Okay? And also, my brother, this poison challenge is talking about Akufo-Addo. I just told him in his party, they have worse. Is there anything worse than poison? Can you tell me?
I doubt.
But let's just create the concept that there's something worse than poison. That's what the NDC has. Okay? What we have done, we are a democratic party. We have listened across the board.
Okay.
We are going to rebuild our party based on these recommendations.
Okay.
The NDC should just sit and watch. Their problem should not be ours.
Okay.
They should worry about the promises that they have made that they cannot keep.
Okay.
They trick people into believing they can do A, B, C, D. Even women of our country who had hopes in them, they have deceived.
All right.
And now to the Chief Justice matter. I am completely scandalized that I am not seeing an outrage on the street.
Why?
An outrage on the street. We have had, I think my brother Solai probably have an idea. We have had easily about 15 Chief Justices in our history, right? 3 of them women out of the 15. All of them appointed by an MPP president. The NDC is going to earn themselves the tag as the government, as the party that targeted the woman CJ and took
her. Are you going to give you the right of reply?
How is the NDC targeting her?
This whole thing about
gender blackmail.
No, well, call it whatever. But everything you said was political blackmail. So if anything is like that, then that's what it is.
How's the NDC targeting her?
Look, what are the issues against the Chief Justice?
We don't know.
The readings we have done.
No, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But the readings we have done, they are matters. But
it's highly speculative. You don't do speculative. No
problem. But that's why I'm not saying it's factual. I say the readings we have done, they are not significant issues. Yeah, but that warrant the breach of institutional independence.
So until we get,
in a manner, hold on. I'm saying that they don't warrant. Has she killed anybody in this country? You've seen her work. Has she killed anybody?
Okay.
Has she proven she has infirmity of body or mind to be able to do the job? Has she done anything egregious so as to breach the Constitution? Just have to take all options off the table except to remove her from office.
We don't know.
I'm just telling you that she has not done those things. If she has done those, you don't need to know. You will just know.
What's Charlotte saying, man?
Charlotte was a woman, but you see, here's the thing.
Sometimes this level of hypocrisy.
No, it's not hypocrisy, my brother. It's okay. We'll have a nice chat. You see, the point about Charlotte Osei that they conveniently don't want to say, the quest to remove Charlotte Osei originated from the EC. It was not induced from without. It was from within.
Okay.
It was from the commissioners themselves blaming each other.
Okay.
That led to that petition. Okay, so it is not comparable to this.
Have you seen the contents of the current 3 petitions against the Chief Justice? How are you able to tell that we don't have cooperatives from the judiciary?
He said based on readings. I kept asking whether he said readings.
What readings?
Which is speculative.
Hold on. And everything you have said is not factual.
It's factual because I back it up. I challenge you to the facts.
My brother, you have not provided any facts.
You have failed to provide facts.
Well, I don't have to provide a fact to you. I'm just letting you know.
Give me an example. Show me evidence.
Allow me to speak. The point I'm telling you, here's the fact. One.
You don't know it. You haven't seen the petition. I've not seen it.
I haven't claimed that I've seen it.
So clearly, so don't run on the basis of conjecture. That's why I'm telling you that this is a serious platform. So it is not acceptable for you to run on
serious platform
on the basis of
conjecture. You are about to do something that is going to breach institutional independence.
Why?
The judiciary is an equal arm of government. Okay?
Why are you
the executive, the legislature.
I want to get the connection.
I am just telling you that.
How are you connecting this to the NDC?
I'm just telling you.
And the Electoral Commission is the trunk that holds the branches of government. If you understand democratic practice. No problem. See the Electoral Commission, Moro. It acts as the trunk of the branches of government we are talking about. You decided to cut down in an analytical manner that trunk. And in the process,
you spoiled the program anyway. But just hold on. We've had a good chat. You see, the point is that I've told him something that's incontrovertible. That with the EC thing that is talking, the trunk or whatever it is that is talking, was originated from within. They themselves created their form. Okay, so the president was a conveyor belt. He's done that. We are saying that.
Question. Why are saying that we are having to deal with today? We don't have a person from the judiciary also filing a petition.
So time is out.
But the petitions, from what we have seen so far,
they will take us off.
They are not. Yeah,
Richard, you know why? Richard, the difficulty is that we've not seen the petition. So let's not proceed from there.
Moro, we have done readings. We have done readings.
No, have you seen the petition?
I'm saying that we have done readings.
No, but you've not seen the petition.
That point is the matter.
Okay, so
the substantial point I'm making.
Don't take us off.
No, just 1 second. The substantial point I'm making to you is that the Justice Gertrude Torkornoo has not done anything that you will say she merits being removed.
No, I don't know. You don't know.
Saying that these micro things that they are trying to blow up to become an issue, that for me,
why don't you wait till you see the petition?
It's a breach of our
So Richard Anyangba, somebody is accusing. So Richard Anyangba is partly blamed in the Michael Quays-led report in page 22. I says, I am Gideon. I says page 22. So this was Evans Dinku from Garu says, good morning. Richard has just reminded me about President Nana Akufo-Addo in his traveling chair. It's important that you, Moro and Nani, should come out and give us the total monetary cost of transporting the presidential chair, the driver, the 2 national security chair with a V8. We want the total cost per year from 2017 to 2025. That's a lot of work for me and Annie, myself and Annie. Now, if Richard wants to know what the CJ did wrong, he should talk to Kandapa. Okay, that's what another viewer just said. And this one here from, this is my final one. So McLean says the last 3 months of NDC administration have been a stark disparity between the promises of giving us paradise and the troubling reality unfolding in our country. Ghana's emergence as a growing hub for cocaine trafficking has cast a dark shadow over Ghana and our reputation as a country. Now the cost of basic human needs in Ghana has surged in recent months, placing a heavy burden on the good people of Ghana. That's MD from Seshi. And finally, Sam Kelly from East Legon Hill says, good morning, Moro. If the MPP does not recognize that they lost the last elections due to their actions and inactions summed up in former President Nana Addo's bad governance and arrogance of power, then they will be doomed forever. Instead of using the various platforms to apologize to Ghanaians and their party faithfuls, they are going on the same tangent of crucifying the truth in favor of falsehood. That's from East Legon Hills. And Alhaji Hamza, it's a very long message. I'll just do a paragraph. Alhaji Hamza says, good morning, my brother. The MPP as a political party can decide to put out the committee report in the public domain or not. It is their own cup of tea. It is already clear that President Nana Akufo-Addo was the #1 person who caused the humiliating defeat of the MPP in 2024 elections. My brother, how can a whole president go to function in their best and ask chiefs to get up and greet them? My brother, who does that? And as if that was not enough for him, the poor taxpayer was used to manufacture a chair for him to be carrying around, and not that this chair was having a private driver, a bodyguard, and a V8. My brother, even Nkrumah had independence for us, couldn't do so. That's Hamza from Pig Farm. Richard, thank you so very much for your time.
And
Richard Anyagba,
they must put a front to defend the Chief Justice.
Watch out for Cook Africa Season 2 coming to the Metro TV with Ahiniwa. This time around,